Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Has been produced by you. I shall therefore give it up. Just that. Life is not easy. Please kindly respond, repeat. Because of our family relationship, when Lord Shiva addresses me as Dakshayani, I at once become morose, and my jolliness and smile at once disappear. I feel very much sorry that my body, which is just like a bag, has been produced by you. I shall therefore give it up. Purport. The word Dakshayani means the daughter of King Daksha. Sometimes when there was relaxed conversation between husband and wife, Lord Shiva used to call Sati, quote, the daughter of King Daksha, unquote. And because this very word reminded her about her family relationship with King Daksha, she at once became ashamed because Daksha was an incarnation of all offenses. Daksha was the embodiment of envy, for he unnecessarily blasphemed a great personality, Lord Shiva. Simply upon hearing the word Dakshayani, she felt afflicted because of reference to the context, because her body was the symbol of all the offensiveness with which Daksha was endowed. Since her body was constantly a source of unhappiness, she decided to give it up. Sajitaya manobhistam sapitam yena bhutam swayam rupam karamayam dadati swa padamtakam panchakalpataribhyacha kripasam yacha. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravan Namaste Kandi Sri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Sahotra Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Gaur Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram. So welcome everyone to this segment of the morning programs, Bhagavatam class. Why do we have to attend Bhagavatam class? What is the use?
To develop, to increase our love for Krishna, and also to learn how the great souls conduct their life, to take inspiration from practical activities.
Yeah. Got anything to add?
How the devotees to perform devotional service and take inspiration from their lives. And the long do's and don'ts of the Purana practice of
Yeah.
the Purana can take us our confidence to the spiritual level.
Yeah. Yeah, so thank you very much. The Bhagavatam is literally incarnation of Krishna. So here in the Bhagavatam, or reciting the Bhagavatam, there is direct association with the Supreme Lord. And that is very purifying. We recite one of the verses we recite before the Bhagavatam is Naskata Yesu Nityam Bhagavata. This is service in itself. And this service purifies us all types of impurities and others about the soul. So it's not another ritual, this is the point. It's not another ritual. Hey, it's time to go to class, boy. You don't know it's time for class? No, it's not another ritual. But this is one of those processes that has to expedite our purification process in our attempt to serve the Lord, in our attempt to serve the devotees. And the Bhagavatam gives us vivid tools somehow to conduct our lives, taking cue from the great souls, great Vaishnavas. So here we see how Mother Sati, she felt that the body that she had acquired was a source of misery. The source of misery for her. And she decided to do something about it. So we are also having bodies that will experience different types of miseries, pleasures. How many types of pleasures do we pass through? We have to solve. We are subjected. Yes, 3 types. Yes. Yes, Adhyarmic, Adibhuti, and Adideva. There are these natural calamities that the body is subjected to. Other living entities also cause us miseries. So here is her own father is the source of her miseries. Anybody can be the source of our miseries on this planet, in this material world. Sadi's case was our own father. So, another person, the source of their misery could be somebody, could be their spouse, or could be their mother, or their anything. Point is, hey, don't kill yourself. This is not something new. There is nothing new in this universe. There is nothing absolutely new in this universe. It has happened before. It will continue to happen. It's happening now to us. So we are subjected to miseries, to different pleasures. The devotee identifies this fact. It's cognizant of this fact. Sati did not just pay a blind eye or deaf ears to what was happening around her. And she didn't just say, I'll just tolerate, I think Krishna said, "Tam Titikshas Bhata." Isn't it? Why that application is not here? Tam Titikshas Bhata. Because the blasphemy of a devotee is involved. You don't say, someone is being blasphemed, someone is talking ill about the devotee, and then you are enjoying it. You relish it, it's nectar for you. Yeah, tell me more. Yeah, I also have some juice about him. You ready to take it? Yeah. Sati did not reckon with that. Blasphemy is a blasphemy. She didn't want to be a pastor. She was infuriated. She chastised the father. upfront. She chastises the offender upfront. Just that alone, she is relieved from the participation and the reactions. The problem is, like I was mentioning yesterday, the problem is when we see someone doing something wrong and we get overwhelmed with humility. We don't say anything. We don't do anything. We want to become good guys. I'm a good guy. I don't, I don't want to give anyone any trouble, you know. So it's not like that. So the saddest case, there are so many things we can learn from here, you know. There's so many things that we need to understand. The blasphemy of a devotee should not be tolerated. If someone is blaspheming, you're talking ill about you. Yes, you can tolerate, but for another devotee, no, it's not tolerable. Either you defeat the argument or you should get out from the place. Because right now, in 21st century, you can't apply the Manu Samhita's instructions, the laws of Manu, that you should call the tongue of the blasphemer. I remember I remember it was some years back, I was in a lounge of Florida. And at that time, Sesha was one of the GBCs there. And I have known Sesha. So he had invited me also to his home that time. I think his daughters were still school. And during the Sunday class, so I remember he asked a question about this student laws in the Manu Samhita that appear like Sharia laws. So he was asking whether we can still apply that. He's the lawyer. He's asking me whether we can still apply that. So I said, no, we cannot apply that because this is Kali Yoga. They will close down the society. They will close down your international society. Just one single report to the authorities will end up, you will pack. Not only pack, you will be in prison. Yeah. So, the point is that we forsake any ill treatment to a devotee. Ill words or ill treatment, that is. And who is a devotee? Your wife is not a devotee? Or your child is not a devotee? Bolo, tell me. Your husband is not a devotee? Each of these personalities, your spouse, your immediate family, they are also devotees. So if we have to apply this general principle in our lives, this is charity begins at home. Charity begins at home. Okay, we might be very expert in trying to guide against the blasphemy of a pure devotee. But we should also guide against hearing ill words about any devotee, about anyone for that matter. And if someone is bringing up some topic, just discussing about someone's faults, with a blade of grass between our lips, we should suggest to the person, please, Prabhu, or please, Mataji, can you say something that is going to uplift me? Can you say something that is going to uplift me, because I know this is not going to uplift me. Yeah. So the rules and regulations, all of these stringent rules, we also have to, is also applicable in our relationships. Unfortunately, in most cases, our false ego don't allow us to be able to understand that the people closest to us are also devotees, and we don't have to speak ill of them. Even speak, sometimes the ill talks are just face to face talk, ill about the other person face to face. That is also blasphemy. It's not only when we speak ill against the Paramahansa that is blasphemy. Someone who just Hare Krishna, Hare Moses. And therefore, it is very challenging to be able to maintain a sustainable Krishna consciousness relationship. Very difficult. Especially if we think that we are the Ishvara. Because the Ishwaraship, Ishvara Bhav is there in everybody. Whether sometimes it's more dominant in the woman, sometimes it's more dominant than in the man. Oh yeah. And sometimes the man is like the recipient of the abuse. And abuse is so complex. In this country, see, I have a friend. Himself and his wife, they're in trouble right now. They left America to go to India because of the schooling of their kids. Wife has a PhD in some science field. Husband has a PhD in some science field. The children are born here, and they are utilizing the Indian system of child upbringing on the children, and are in trouble. And there is good that the trouble they're in is in India, not here. If it's in America, they will be in jail. In America, then the child went to make that report, they will be in jail. So the way we handle people, the way we talk to people, including our own children, we have to constantly remind ourselves, this is a devotee of Lord Krishna. This is a devotee of Lord Krishna. This is a devotee of Lord Krishna. Yes, someone may hurt us. Your wife may hurt you. Your child may hurt you. Your husband may hurt you. Your response is the question. How do you respond? Because two wrongs cannot make it right. And sometimes we think, especially somebody thinks, yes, it's my right. Whatever I do is right. Because I am always right. I've seen this type of person. I mean, I like talking and not just talk only Purana. Purana, because someone can deny that. Maharaj, these things that took place thousands of years ago. We are in Kali Yuga. We are in the 21st century. I'm also talking about what is happening right now, here, in the 21st century. So, Sati didn't take it kindly when her own father was blasphemous. Should we take it kindly when we are hurting another person? Or should another person, so the recipient of that hurt, take it kindly? Of course, no. We all have emotions. We have emotions. And therefore, every page of the Bhagavatam matters a lot. There is always something we can take home with. Hearing the adventures of the Lord, the devotees of the Lord, or the leaders, it's amazing. They're very purifying. But we can also add the applications of those leaders to our own lives. What do we learn from this leader? What do we learn from this leader? How am I to improve on my values? How am I to improve on my character development based on this leader? It's not like they're not folk tales. They are instructive devotional adventures of the Lord and His pure devotees. And so here, Sati did not hesitate to address the situation. Sometimes something happens, and it takes us years. I remember something had happened. I knew about it, and because some devotees told me about it, and the person in charge of it, he told me that after like some years had passed. So I was just laughing with him. I said, okay, this is how you manage the people. Yeah. Sati did not wait for years to pass before he addressed the problem. She didn't wait for weeks to pass before she addressed the problem. This is a matter of something transpired and we address it. Because it matters. Because it has to do with emotions. Because someone feels hurt. Otherwise, how are they going to have a sense of belonging? So that is the application of this very integrated spiritual value in our own lives. And that basically boils down to relationships in our family, relationship between child and parent, relationship between spouses. And except that we decide to become embodiment of offenses like Daksha, we just need to be careful what we say, how we say it, and to whom. Lord Shiva has been a recipient of ill treatment. Remember, Chitraketu, he did something funny also to Lord Shiva. Remember the story? Yeah. So does it mean that a pure devotee is just the recipient of all ill treatment? No, we suffer the consequences when we treat the devotee complacently. And Daksha also, as we know, he did have some repercussions for it. And this is happening because of unrestrained sensory modalities. Adanta good relation. Unrestrained. The urge, it's not controlled. The urge to talk anything that comes out like a mad person. Everyone has an urge to talk. Babies who are babbling, they don't have any restraint. But grown-up people, we do have a sense of restraint. Otherwise, they become like a baby. Oh yeah. And then we get into trouble. So it is important for us to culture love and respect for everyone. If we love somebody, we will not hurt them. We will not hurt them. But if we don't create that loving culture, it's so easy. It's so easy. Oh, we think we are better than anyone else. It's so easy to be despicable. It's so easy. As soon as we begin to think, I'm up here. I'm Swami now. I have a PhD now. And I'm the guru. I'm better than anybody else. Oh, here's the trouble. As soon as we think we are the best, we are heading for a Waterloo. 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 So, devotional life, some people characterize it as a battlefield. But Krishna said, it's just to come out here. So it's like contradictory. Oh, yeah. And so the important point here is addressing issues without hesitancy. Prompt address issues. Issues will come up. But if we don't address the issues, they develop into what? A problem. The problem is not addressed, it will develop into a crisis. When there's a crisis, there's topsy-turvy. Heads rule. And so when issues come up, we see how we are addressing it. In our own personal lives, in our personal devotional cultivation, we should be examining ourselves, self-analysis, self-diagnosis, and see the issues, the lives we have in our lives. And we should strategize, we should develop strategies to address those issues before they become problems. And if we identify a problem, we need to generate strategies to deal with the problems before they develop into crisis. And so, the great souls, they don't keep quiet. When issues crop up, they deal with it. They don't go to bed. They don't ignore the problem and say, I'll just reflect on it. After some days, after some weeks, I think I'll get a message from Krishna on how to deal with it. This is not how organizations are managed. And I see that in our movement. Some cases, some issues come up, and the people in charge, they don't do anything about it. And that creates loss of trust. Because for someone to trust you, you have to have the competency. And the competency entails effectiveness and efficiency. If we want someone to trust us, they have a problem, do we jump in to deal with the problem? And another element of trust is that we should have integrity. If there is no integrity, no, nobody will trust us. We say one thing and we don't follow it up, nobody will trust us. Oh, Jesus said this like that, nothing really happens. If you tell your spouse, I'm going to do this, This is how he talks. Nothing happens. This is integrity deficiency. Is it's a smoking gun for laws of faith, laws of trust. The other point, the other point is goodwill. Is this person, does he care about our future? Does he care? Or does she care about our future? Hey, Prabhu, come do this. Hey, Mataji, come do this. Hey, do this. This is for your purification, okay? So we have to develop an anti-dark shadow mentality. Because if something happens to somebody and we don't come to the rescue, we don't address it, one thing they will feel is, oh, she's envious of me. That's why she's keeping adamant. Oh, he's waiting for me to just die. Nothing, he did nothing. So we live in an organization where we're serving an organization where most of the people are not paid agents. And faith-based non-profit, these are the things I studied in my PhD program. These are the things I studied. In a faith-based organization, people are not paid. And it is more difficult to manage faith-based volunteers than even to manage employees in a multinational company. Because those people, they're being paid. And they can always do their duty, because if they don't do their duty, they will not be paid. Or if they don't do their duty, they will be sacked. So in ISKCON is a typical faith-based non-profit. And if ISKCON is even worse in some scenarios, because majority of the devotees in ISKCON, they think that they know everything. And so it's difficult for the team leader to manage them or to lead them, because, if I know better than you, what have you got to tell me? I mean, it's like the modern children, all of these teenagers, they always feel that they know better than the parents. The parent may have even a PhD. They always think they know better than them. Yes, it's just the conditioning. Yeah. I've seen children whose parents are PhDs and they wouldn't care less follow the instructions of their parents. Look, materially speaking, there's a big gap. A big gap. And it's just because of the conditioning. So we tend to think we know better than everyone else. And this is an impediment to pure devotional service. Because the pure devotee feels they don't know anything. Everybody else is very advanced, and they themselves, they are low. And therefore, they jump in to assist us in our journey back home, back to God. Just like Mother Sati addresses issues, they jump in to address our problems. They jump in to try to facilitate our growth. And they don't harbor any dark shadow mindset. Pure devotee wants the disciple to be greater than them. I mean, it's like a loving parents want their child to be greater than them. So the devotee of the Lord does not harbor blasphemy, talking ill against anybody. And this causes a lot of stagnation in our devotion. There are so many good things we can talk about, and sometimes some of us become like, we act like flies. The flies that go to the dirty places. Flies. The bee goes and takes the best, even from the flower that is just open there under the sun. They go and suck the honey. They get the best out of even the worst situation. The fly seeks for the worst out of the best situation. So that's why it's like that. Lord Shiva has so many wonderful characteristics. He wouldn't see that. It was easy to bring him down. And if we try to bring someone down, we'll also not rise. If we hold somebody down, are we going to rise ourselves? No. You'll be there, no? You'll also be down there. Because you're pinning him down, or pinning her down, you'll also be down there. So this is the situation that Daksha faces. But these things are not, or fault finding. And these things are impediments. These negative attitudes are impediment in our devotion. Any comments or questions? Can you speak a little bit louder so that I can hear you?
Prabhupada mentions in the previous yours, you can destroy so many emotions. And she can even discuss this on this. Husband told her not to go. And there Prabhupada writes, with her glances she wanted to burn Lord. So, husband is, her name is Sati actually. Sati means chase life. But husband told her not to go, she went. And now, husband already cautioned her what is going to happen. The question to you is, when we discussed this, I want to hear your insight. I want to give insight. She is the mental energy. Is she part of the mental energy or she is controlled of material?
She is the controller of the matter energy. She is an expansion of Radharani, Lakshmi. So basically, these are what we call Leelas. And the Leela is like those who study theater art. In theater arts, someone assumes a position to act like Arjuna, assumes a position to act like an ordinary person. Society also assumes a position to act like an ordinary woman, where husband says something, in some cases, they will give it them. Listen. They would even think, what are they talking? I'm not better. I do my stuff. I go ahead and do my stuff. Someone, you may give some instruction, some advice to somebody, and sometimes they just want to hear what you say. They have built up what they want to do. What you say doesn't really matter to them. They just want to honor you, respect you for who you are, but what you say does not change their original strategy, their idea, what they want to do. So here Sati is also demonstrating the nature of the conditioned soul, how we are so untrusted that even if someone wishes us well, hey, don't put your hand to the fire. Fire burns. I know fire burns. Now, as you live, put your hand to the fire. This is exactly what is happening. This is how we act. So it's just showing how we behave in this material world. I mean, it's like Arjuna. Arjuna was, complaining about his family relatives and, gurus and all those gangsters. This is exactly what we do. This is exactly what we do. Arjuna is Krishna's eternal companion. But he just assumes the position. That is exactly what transpires in theater arts. In drama, someone takes up the garb of a demon. He is not a demon. But he had to act in that way. So, in most cases, the leaders of the Lord, they are performed with this pure devotees, but in pure devotees, sometimes even the devotee has to even come as a demon. Remember the case of Jaya and Jaya. They were cursed to come down. If you think Vishnu couldn't have just stopped it, that hey, down to hell with you. These are my boys. How dare you curse them? I dislodge the curse. He didn't do that. He was orchestrating something from behind the curtains. And these people were just used as a facade, as a smoke screen. He wanted to go and have some pastime in the material world. And he has already orchestrated this, and now this unfoldment is going on. So yeah. And that is why it is so difficult to understand why Krishna does what he does, how he does what he does. And sometimes people think that they don't need the guru. I know the scriptures. I remember when I was coming to the temple, there was this professor. I went with him on Sankirtan. And he saw how I was distributing the books. At the time I was still coming from outside. He saw how I was distributing the books. And he told me, hey, boy, you're going to be a very good devotee if you join full time. He said, but for me, no, I know the science. What is that? I know that you need to remember Krishna at the time of death. I know that. So for me, I already know the science. I don't need to become a full-time devotee. Plus, I'm very much attached to my mother. But the fact that I'm attached to my mother, the other aspect of my understanding counteracts that because I know the science. No matter attachment I have to my mother, at the time of death, I will just remember Krishna. Because I know that is what is required. So the materialists, they think like this. They think they are smarter than Krishna. I mean, it's like someone who gave, after hearing the story of Ajamil, he gave names to his, different names of Krishna, Vishnu to his children. And so because he understood, Ajamil remembered his son, Narayan, and he called on Narayan at the time of death. And he was sick. So then, when he was to pass away, he ordered all the children to come around by this. by his deathbed. And when he was to pass away, the last thing he remembered was not any of those sons who was around him. He remembered what he said was, "Oh, so all of you are here. So who is there in the shop?" Then he passed away. So sometimes we think that we are very, very smart. The little child thinks they're smarter than the parents. Conditioned soul thinks they're very smart. So yeah, that is just showing us how we act in this world. And that is the drama. And it's showing us that if we're not good listeners, we don't take advice, we could run, we could face some catastrophes. And some people, they don't take advice. So Science case is just showing us that, because Lord Shiva told what to do. She didn't do it. Yes. Anytime.
Okay. When you mentioned about addressing the problem immediately instead of crisis, many times we were advising, instead of addressing the problem, it could be material problem or whatever it is coming out of the ego. Instead of addressing the problem, we try to explain that, okay, capabilities like chat, and channeling will help them. These kind of advices when we are doing, after some time, the problem will still be there. Problem is not actually changed or anything like that. At the same time, if one applies the chanting, really well, then that is definitely the Holiness can change the situation. But they are not able to chant at the same time, and we are not able to address the problem. So how do we explain this situation?
Okay, thank you. See, I think we have a general disease, or most of us have a general disease, that we think someone has a cardiovascular problem, we say chant Hare Krishna. Someone has an ophthalmological problem, we say chant Hare Krishna. Someone is suffering terribly from hernia, we tell him chant Hare Krishna. It's a good idea, but we can also advise people to see professionals. Someone is having some heart problem, we don't just ask them to sit down there and chant Hare Krishna. We should advise them to see the cardiologist. Yeah. I think that in some cases we destroy people's lives. I've seen a case. One of my friends in New York, Indian boy, he did his masters in America, was working in America. His parents, both parents are doctors. And when he was to get married, the girl was not a Vaishnavi, and he didn't want, the girl who don't want to marry someone who is too deep in Krishna consciousness, because the women fear you get too deep in Krishna consciousness, you will not give them quality time. Quality time will be for Krishna only. So it was facing a question from the girl, how deep are you in this Krishna consciousness? If we have pre-marriage discussions. And then his counselor told him to tell a lie. Told this boy to tell a lie to the girl. The person you want to marry, you asked to tell a lie. She will know. She will know that. That I just started this process. I'm just beginning, so I'm just on the surface. So the girl said, "Oh, we can marry." So they got married, and then every day she sees this guy. She sees this guy, early in the morning, spending 2 hours chanting. And then he said, "You told me lies." The marriage suffocated for 5 years. Then the divorce. One thing, you told me lies. You don't tell your spouse lies just to get them into marriage. They get to know is a breach of integrity. A breach of integrity. Even your child, your little child, you tell them lies, is a breach of integrity. We have to be careful. So, sometimes, I have seen cases where people bring some matters to me, and I tell them that, listen, I know I'm a Swami, I'm a guru, I have a PhD, but my PhD is in applied management and decisions. I'm not a cardiologist. So I advise them, now direct them to meet a specialist in that field. And sometimes the devotees, they're reluctant. They say, "Oh, Maharaj, no, you have to deal with it." I said, "Come on. This is not my duty." So we should be upfront to let people know we are not omniscient. Just because we turn a relation for 10 years, 5 years, doesn't make us omniscient, doesn't make us, know all fields of human endeavor. Even Krishna, we know just small, not Krishna. Yeah, so we give people advice based on their needs, but we have to look at what the challenge that they're facing. If we don't have the skills in that field, we should direct them to somebody who is a specialist in that field. Luckily, in our movement, we have all types of talents these days. We have all types of talents. So people are always there to help us. And if even the people are not there to deal with that problem, we can seek for help from professionals outside. Someone has a health problem, don't say, "Well, I'm a devotee, I don't need." I would have gone surgeries a number of times. When I had my terrible accident in 1990 where my bladder was ruptured, pelvic bone was broken, I was in hospital. I underwent surgeries, major surgeries. I had major surgeries on my right eye. I had retinal detachment to the tear, New Jersey teaching hospital, New Jersey University teaching hospital. So we can't say that we know everything. We don't have all the skills. How can one person know everything? How many years you spend in the university to learn everything? It's just not practical, isn't it? Yeah. So when people have problems, we have to see how we are helping them. And if we don't have the skills in that field, we should direct them to somebody who has the skills to give the proper advice, proper evaluation.
thanks because of this attitude of everything relying, giving, chanting. This is what actually making, everything, if you just sit in the morning and chant 16 hours, then you have such. We don't want to depend on that kind of thing. So doing that is important. Thank you so much. It's not an exactly in context question. Can I ask you a question? So recently I was hearing that Srila Gaurav Maharaj mentioned that if one is very simple, then very easily he can chant pure name. So what is the ultimate standard of simplicity?
Okay. The simplicity has no ultimate standard. It is just based on individuals and their operational environment. If you operate in an environment where being simple means to iron your shirt and appear in the office, you do that. Being simple means you just put on a t-shirt and you go to the office. And you feel fine with that, you do that. But in some cases, I've also encountered this. I remember one young professor, we were working together, and that time I was the temple president of the temple in his city. And he was so young that he got his PhD at a tender age that the students miscue him for a student. Even during when he was proctoring exam, when he was invigilating an exam, someone was cheating. so, so he approached this girl that, hey, stop. The girl didn't mind him because she thought, who is this student coming to disturb me? Because of the way he appeared. Some of the students are dressed, better than him. So I remember one time I went to the campus, and then one of his friends, another young professor, he called his name and he said, "See, this is your president. Look at how he dressed. And you dress in such a way that people think that these are Krishnas. They are not people I should associate with. Yeah, people watch us." So simplicity means go by the minimum requirement and think high. Think for the good or for the welfare of everybody around you. Think about what will make them become more attracted to Krishna. That is simplicity. Because we find that in the case of Bhakti Vasudeva Swami, see, I remember one of his disciples was giving a talk. This guy is very, very smart. He went to one of the best universities, School of Economics in London. He had a master's, he talks very nicely, very great speaker. He gave a talk in one university, and that program was part of the commemoration event of Bhakti Vasudeva Swami. And so in the audience, there were all these real highly educated women who came and all those things, people who knew Bhakti Vasudeva Swami. So after this guy's presentation, and I was there, he gave a very nice talk. But he dressed very, very simple. It's just like, maybe should I say super simple? So during question and answers, one of these tall, huge ladies, highly educated lady. She made a comment. She said, see, what made us to be attracted to Bhakti Swami is not only about the fact that he went to Princeton. We are always proud of him. We are always after him. Any place he's giving a talk, we will make sure we go there. One of the things was that he dresses smartly. She said, you give a very nice talk, but look at how you dress. I felt very bad. This is not Purana. I saw it. I was there at Howard University. Yeah, so everybody is not a yogi. And they find some fault with us. They're looking for fault instead of looking for the good. They're looking for the good message. No, they don't look at it. They're looking for something to criticize us about. Yeah, so I saw that. And for me, I remember going to a conference. I went for a presentation at North Carolina Political Science Association annual conference. I went for presentation, and then I started presenting something relating to leadership. And after the panel program, so I was sitting down on one stool in a lotus position. And so the chair, the panel chair, is a prominent TV star in the whole of that state. He's a political science professor, PhD in political science. He's known all over the state because of his programs on TV. So he came to me and he said, Dad, see, look at all these professors. They came here, 3-piece suit, tie, big suitcase, and you came here, simple. And you sat there like a Buddha. But your paper is not simple, your paper is heavily loaded. When I came back to Washington, D.C., I told my Guru Maharaj, Bhakti Vasudeva Swami, and immediately he ordered his personal assistant to take me out to go and buy me 2 pairs of suits. And he warned me, if you are going to the conferences, you dress like one of them. Otherwise, they will think you are a CIA agent. The purpose of coming will be defeated because then they will be dissociated. Yeah, so here, we can be simple. That's why I said, according to this color poetry. Okay, I think we stop there. Srila Prabhupada Kirtan. Srimad Bhagavatam Kirtan.
Bhakti Vasudeva Swami Maharaja.
Thank you so much, Maharaj.